Welcome to the R Spot. Here's a question for you, or shall I say, a question that comes to me very often. Why can't I find the right one? The right person to love me the way I want to be loved? Now that I think about it, I've asked myself that question many times, and usually it was attached to a disappointment in a current relationship or some level of heartache and heartbreak I was experiencing when I realized that this is the same one as that one. So here's the real question. Why do I keep attracting or falling in love with the same person with a different name and a different pair of pants or dress, depending upon your preference? That's the subject for today. Finding the right one to love me. So let's get right into it. One of my strongest spiritual teachings comes from A Course in Miracles, a text written by Helen Schumann and William Thetford in 1977. And without getting into a lot of details about the history of A Course in Miracles, let me say that the Course offers a series of principles and premises designed to support the reprogramming of the mind and the repatterning of your heart so that you can experience the fullness of unconditional love. And one of the premises of the Course that I love is you cannot solve the problem because you don't know what the problem is. I think that applies to the question of why can't I find the right one? So here's a few things I want to share with you and ask you to consider. The way we create relationships and attract partners is often not based on what we want. It's based on what we learned as children through experiences. It's based on how we were conceived, the energy we marinated in when we were in the womb. It's based upon what we heard and witnessed and experienced in our first 5 years of life, and what we were taught and what we made up about love and relationships. The way we create relationships, all relationships, and the people we attract into those relationships, all relationships, is a function of DNA and subconscious mental and emotional patterning and programming. Let me say that again. The way we create relationships, all relationships, and the partners and people that we attract, all people, all partners, is a function of our DNA and subconscious, that means we're not conscious of them, mental and emotional programming and patterning. Now let me say that in plain English. In all situations, under all circumstances, we will attract what we believe about ourselves and about love. And what we attract is a function of who we believe we are, what we have learned about ourselves, and what we have experienced in every single relationship. Furthermore, we cannot and will not attract the love we want and desire until we recognize and change those beliefs. Okay? Take a breath. We cannot solve the problem of attracting the right person because we do not know what the problem is. See, when a relationship goes south, more often than not, we believe the problem is the other person. What they have done or not done, what they have given or not been able or unwilling to give. As a result, we start looking and longing for a person who can give more, do different, and just generally be the right one. And in that process, we overlook, or misunderstand that we created the relationship and attracted the person because of our unconscious beliefs and feelings about ourselves and about love. In response to who we believe we are, what we have learned about ourselves, and what we experienced in our earliest relationship. I know that's a lot. And here's the problem that we cannot find the solution for. We cannot find the right one because we think it is someone else. And you, my beloved, are the problem. And you, my beloved, are the solution. You are the right one. I'm not going to give you yet another catchy motivational saying, you know the ones, you are the one you're looking for, you are the love you seek, blah, blah, blah. What I will say is this: clean, clear, and complete. We cannot solve the problem of attracting the right person because we create relationships and attract people based on our unconscious beliefs and feelings about ourselves as a function of who we believe we are and what we have learned about ourselves. This is what we experience. It's not based on how much money you have. It's not based on how much money you make or want. It is not based on how much we give or do. It is not based on how little we ask for or accept. Our relationships, all relationships, is a mirror reflection of the relationship you are having with yourself. Who you attract, what you attract, is a reflection of what we have learned, what we've been taught, and what we believe we deserve. Therefore, if and when we believe we cannot have what we want, cannot keep what we want, do not deserve what we want, and here's the big one, that what we want in a relationship must come from the outside. That is the problem. And we will never be able to solve it because we think something else is the problem. Okay, take another deep breath because I can feel your mind racing and the negative ego is going into resistance. So before you hit the I don't like this button, listen to this. Let's take me as an example. I've been very open in the world about the fact that I marinated in a toxic womb. My mother was an alcoholic and my father was a married man. I was born into an atmosphere of poverty, dishonesty, shame, guilt, and anger. But wait, it goes deeper. My brother was a severe asthmatic. From that, I was taught that his illness made him more important than me. And my grandmother, who raised me, worked long hours and often left my brother and I home alone. And from that I learned this, that love is fleeting. And in order to be loved, you have to do exactly what you're told and never disappoint the person telling you what to do. To get their love and to get their approval, you had to silence yourself. I was born to poor people of color in the 1950s. From that, I learned that I was less than other people, that I could not have what other people had, and a whole host of things I learned by the age I was 5. I believed those things were the absolute truth about me and life. I never saw a loving relationship between a man and a woman except on television. And what I saw was white people with money doing things that I had never seen done or experienced personally. Now, that's not about race as much as it is about who I thought I was and what I came to believe and what I experienced in my own world. So fast forward. When I started to create relationships, all types of relationships, I created them with people that I thought were more important than me, like my brother. People who would come and go in my life, like my grandmother, my father, and my mother, who died when I was 2. I created relationships with people who supported my belief that there was something I needed to do to get their love and keep them happy. People who would come and go in my life, people who were not shy about promoting their beliefs and their needs over my beliefs and my needs. I created relationships based on what I knew and what I saw. I was trying desperately to create the relationships that I had seen on television, but those were things I didn't believe I could have. things that I had never seen up close, things that I believed that other people had to give me in order for me to have. I could not give those things to myself because I wasn't enough. I couldn't take care of myself. I couldn't improve myself. And I didn't establish my value because I wasn't important enough. And I couldn't do enough in the right way to be okay with myself. We cannot solve the problem because we don't know what the problem is. And we cannot find the right one because somewhere deep down inside, in a place that many of us have not recognized or acknowledged, we do not believe, have not been taught, and do not feel that we are the right one. You are the right one, beloved. You are the right one for you to love. You are the right one to take care of you. You are the right one to nurture and nourish and encourage and inspire and comfort and care for you. And until we believe that, feel that, think that, and live that, we will keep attracting people who are walking, talking demonstrations of what we believe in the back of our mind. Okay, all right, before you hit the I don't like this button, again, let me take me as an example. In my third long-term, serious, loving relationship, I attracted a partner who would beat the hell out of me every day. He said he loved me, just like my grandmother told me, but he beat me, just like my grandmother and my father. I accepted it from my husband because it is what I learned as a child at home. But wait, it gets deeper. It wasn't just that the men I attracted and built relationships with, it was also women. I attracted and created relationships with women that I call friends who lied to me, betrayed me, abandoned me, and treated me poorly. I attracted women who did to me in my outer world the very things that I did to myself within myself, moment by moment, hour by hour, on a daily basis. I thought it was them. I blamed them. I was mad at them until I realized I was attracting people, all kinds of people, and created relationships, all kinds of relationships that reflected to me who I believed I was, what I had been taught and learned about myself, and what I had experienced in the first 5 years of my life. And I could not solve the problem because in my search for the right ones, I thought it was them, what they were doing, what they had done, what they gave and could not give me. When the truth was, I attracted and created what I had failed to be before or give to myself. I thought I could get it, had to get it, would only get it from the outside. I know this is a lot to take in, so let me be clear. When we cannot and do not attract the right one, it is because we do not believe that everything is right with ourselves, within ourselves. And it doesn't matter what your mind and ego tell you. Look at your life and your relationship history. That is where you will find the truth. And if you really, really want to see it, stay by yourself for a little while and just look at what you do. Now, does this mean that people aren't crazy as hell? And that they don't do terribly awful things? No, some people are mean, nasty, crazy as hell. They're liars and they behave very badly. The question is, why are they in your world? I have many friends who never saw domestic violence and attracted it into their lives. Then there are those who saw it, lived it, and have never experienced it. The issue is what they believe and what they were taught about themselves. It is so very true that some of us, some really good and loving people, have experienced things that we didn't deserve. The issue is, why did we attract it, and what did we learn as a result? We may know that those people, the people who hurt us, abandoned us, rejected us, or in some other way behaved badly in our lives, were not the right people. But the point we often miss is, what did they mirror back to me? What need did they fill? What void did they step into? And what lesson did they teach me? As long as you're looking for, longing for the right one, you're going to keep attracting the wrong one, because there's a problem that you have not recognized. Bad things do happen to good people. And another Course in Miracle lesson is this: all things are lessons that God would have us learn. So here is a lesson, my beloveds. You are the right one. And the moment you see yourself as whole, complete, perfect, lovable, and loving, just as you are, the people who are ordained to share that love, your self-love, with you will show up. The right one is the one who will reflect back to you what you think, feel, and believe is true about yourself. The right one is the one who sees and holds you as an equal, who deserves to be loved just because. The right one is the one who accepts you just as you are and is willing to hang in there with you until you get better. The right one is the one who gives you more of what you already are, what you already have, and what you already believe you are worthy to receive. You cannot solve the problem until you understand what the problem is. You, my beloved, are the right one for you. Unfortunately, as long as you wait and long for something or someone to give you what you don't believe you are, what you don't believe you have, you'll remain immersed in the problem with no way to find the solution. A Course in Miracles, Lesson 79. Let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. A problem cannot be solved if you do not know what it is. And everyone in this world seems to have its own special problems, yet they are all the same and must be recognized as one if the solution that solves them all is to be accepted. No one could solve all the problems the world appears to hold. They seem to be so many, on so many levels, in such varying forms, that they confront you with an impossible situation. Dismay and depression is inevitable as you consider them. Some spring up unexpectedly, just as you think you have resolved the previous one. Others remain unresolved under a cloud of denial and rise up to haunt you from time to time, only to be hidden again, but still unresolved. Today, we will try to free our minds of all of the different kinds of problems we think we have. We will try to realize that we have only one problem which we have failed to recognize, and we will ask what it is and wait for the answer, because we will be told. Then we will ask for the solution to the problem, and we will be told. Begin with this premise: the only problem I ever have is the belief that I'm separate from God and therefore separate from love. Until next time.